Today we are going to discuss Weft Insertion method in our projectile loom. Before moving to the topic, as we have discussed earlier about projectile loom, so let us have some questions. Sir, stand up. What is WIR?
Weft Insertion rate.
And how much the WIR value is applied in our projectile loom? What is WIR rate in our projectile? State the value of 1500. Don't stand up. What is the thickness of a projectile? Sahu, state the thickness of projectile. 6 mm. Here, sit down. Sit down. Over here, stand up. What is the other name of projectile? What is Satyam? What is the other name of projectile? Patra? Now, we will discuss the Weft Insertion method. We will cover this in 7 pictures. Now, in the first figure, you just see some parts. Here, this is your teeth or O. What is this? Teeth or O. And what is this? Weft brake. This? This? Feeder. And what is this? Projectile. This one? This one? This one? This one? Now, here the feeder and the weft brake just hold the weft air. In our very first picture, the function of the feeder and the weft brake is to grip or hold the weft air, and at the same time the tensioner applied some load, applied some tension on the weft brake. But for which purpose? To reduce slackness. And in the second figure, here the projectile 1, if projectile 1 just hold the weft air, just grip the weft air, and at the same time your feeder now open off. Feeder open up, and at the same time also your brake release the weft. Clear? Now in the second figure, now we move up to third figure. See, in the third figure, your torsion bar applied the torque, by virtue of which your projectile moves from one side to the other side. Your projectile moved from one side to other side. and here your gripper, your projectile is stopped by the brake. Your projectile is stopped by the brake, and at the same time your tension, wave tension is reduced for which purpose? Because if the tension is not reduced in this case, your weft yarn will break. Your weft yarn will break, and at the same time your brake also grip the weft yarn. Before the brake was open, but in the next figure your brake grip the. Now in the next slide, next figure, in the next figure you just see your feeder move close to the edge of fabric. Before that your feeder was away from the edge of fabric. Now in the next figure your feeder now move to the close of the fabric, and your projectile push back. Your projectile push back for what? To release the weft yarn from projectile by an expeller. And at the same time your tension increases to reduce the slackness by your weft tensioner. Clear? Now in the next figure you just see this is your selvage clamp or selvage gripper, and this is your feeder. Now feeder and your selvage clamp both grip the weft yarn, and at the same time also your brake hold the weft yarn. Clear? Now in the next picture what will happen? Now the scissor will cut the weft yarn, by leaving some weft fringe to form your selvage. Now how much weft fringe is left to form a selvage in your projectile loom? We will say how much? 15. Sit down. Now see your scissor now cuts the weft yarn. The scissor now cuts the weft yarn, and the feeder hold the weft yarn. Clear? What will happen in the next figure? Now this is your eyelet. This eyelet or tucking device or tucking needle will form your selvage. By inserting this much of weft fringe will be inserted by your this needle. Clear? This much of weft fringe will be inserted by your this needle. Clear? Now what will happen? Your feeder will move away, or your feeder will gain its original position. And your projectile also come to your conveyor belt to insert your next weft yarn by the projectile 2. Like this, your projectile was 1, 2, 3, 4. At the first time your projectile 1, was used to insert your weft yarn. After insertion of one peak by your projectile 1, the next weft yarn, the next peak will be inserted by your projectile 2, and this projectile now will move to this position 1, 2. After that, your projectile 3 will active. After that, your projectile 3 will active. And after the insertion of the third peak by your projectile 3, the position of the projectile 3 now will be here. Here. Now, after that, your projectile 4 will active. Here. Now, projectile 4 will insert your peak 4. Will insert your peak 4, and after your projectile 4 position will be here. Now, after the completion of these 4 projectile in weft insertion, your 1, 2, 3, 4 position will be again used by this 4 projectile. Yeah, and this was all about weft insertion process, weft insertion method in your projectile loom. If any doubt, you can ask me. Have any questions? Satyavatan sir? Let's end up this session. Thank you.